Welcome, everyone. Today, we're not just going to talk about happiness in a general way. We're going to step inside the life of someone who appeared to have everything, yet felt absolutely nothing inside. His name is Jack. He's not a celebrity. He's not famous. He doesn't have millions of followers on social media, and he doesn't drive a luxury sports car. But his story carries more power than most success stories you've ever heard. Why? Because Jack possessed something that most people are afraid to admit they have. An invisible sadness, the kind that nobody sees from the outside. The kind that doesn't make any noise. The kind that quietly, slowly kills your joy without you even realizing it's happening. This is not just his story. This might be your story too. So, I want you to listen carefully because somewhere within these words you may just discover the secret of your own happiness. And if you want to understand stories like this one, not just on an emotional level, but also through real, powerful English, you've come to the right place. Here we work on growing your mind and your English skills together. So make sure to subscribe now and let this be the story that transforms both your life and your language. My name is Jack. I still remember that night clearly. It was a Thursday evening in winter, bitterly cold, the kind of night when most people sit with their families and eat warm, comforting food. But I was completely alone. I had just finished my dinner, which was a dry microwave meal that I didn't even enjoy. I turned off the television, and the room fell into complete silence. Suddenly, I felt something strange. It wasn't exactly pain, and it wasn't exactly sadness. It was just emptiness. I sat there, staring at the walls of my apartment. Everything looked fine on the outside. I had a decent job. I had money in my bank account. I had a phone full of contacts and people I could call. I even had new shoes delivered to my door that very morning. But inside me, something important was missing. And for the first time in years, I actually noticed it. I asked myself a question that changed everything. If my life looks fine from the outside, why don't I feel fine on the inside? That one simple question started a journey I never expected. I had spent years doing exactly what I was supposed to do. I graduated from school, I got a job, I earned money, I acted responsibly, I posted birthday selfies online, and I always said I'm good when people asked how I was doing. I played the role perfectly. But that night, in that silence, I felt like a stranger living inside my own body. I looked around my apartment. Everything was exactly where it should be. My laptop was on the table. My coffee mug was beside the bed. My phone was charging, and the curtains were half closed. But none of it felt like it truly belonged to me. I was living, but I wasn't truly alive. The realization hit me hard. I hadn't laughed genuinely in months. I hadn't woken up excited about anything in years. I hadn't felt truly free since I was a teenager. Every single day was the same cycle. Wake up, check my phone, go to work, eat something quick, scroll through social media, and go to sleep. I had stopped dreaming. I had stopped feeling deeply. I had stopped asking myself the most important question. Jack, are you really okay? Because the honest truth was, I wasn't. You know what the worst part was? I felt guilty for even thinking these thoughts. My inner voice kept telling me, Jack, there are people suffering out there in the world. You have a roof over your head, a job, and your health. You should be grateful. You're lucky. Stop complaining. But I wasn't complaining. I was genuinely confused because I had everything that society told me to chase after, and still, I felt nothing inside. That confusion, that quiet question lingering in my head, it broke me open in a way I hadn't expected. It wasn't depression in the clinical sense. It was disconnection. I wasn't falling apart. I was just disconnected from life itself, like a phone that shows full battery but has no signal. That's exactly what I had become. A man with a functioning body but a lost soul. That night, for the first time in years, I sat quietly and did something rare. I didn't open my phone. I didn't escape into a screen. I just sat there and let the silence speak to me. And it did. It told me the truth I had been hiding from. Jack, you are not living. You are just surviving. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't post a quote on Instagram. I just made one simple promise to myself. I said, I need to find out what happiness actually means. Not what other people say it means, not what movies show, but what it truly means for me personally. That was the night my journey started. A quiet, personal, lonely, but ultimately powerful journey. Not toward more success, but toward something much more rare. Peace, clarity, happiness, real happiness. For a long time, I believed something without ever questioning it. I believed that happiness comes later. Later when life becomes easier. Later when problems disappear. Later when I become successful enough. From the time we are children, life teaches us a rule. First struggle, then succeed, then be happy. So happiness becomes a reward, not a natural state of being. People don't say it directly, but they live their lives this way. Finish your studies first, then you can enjoy yourself. Work hard now, happiness will come later. Sacrifice your present moments for a better future. So we learn to postpone happiness. We learn to say, not now, later, and later becomes a habit. I didn't wake up thinking I don't want to be happy today. No, I woke up thinking once I fix this part of my life, I'll finally relax. So I kept fixing things. When I was a student, I said after I graduate, I'll be happy. After I graduated, I said after I get a job, I'll be happy. After I got the job, I said after I get a promotion. After the promotion, I said after I make more money. After more money, I said after everything feels stable. But stability never came because the moment one problem ended, another one appeared. Life didn't pause and say, okay, Jack, now it's your turn to be happy. Life just kept moving forward. One day I realized something painful. I was always preparing for life, but I wasn't actually living it. My mind was always in the future, planning, fixing, improving, worrying, and calculating. I was treating happiness like a destination on a map. But the map kept changing, and the destination kept moving further away. This lie is dangerous because it teaches you one thing: your present moment is never enough. So even when life is okay, you feel unsatisfied. Even when nothing is wrong, you feel restless. Even when you achieve something, you feel empty again. Not because the achievement is useless, but because you never allowed yourself to feel fulfilled. You immediately moved the finish line further ahead. Let me be very clear about something. This has nothing to do with phones, nothing to do with technology, and nothing to do with modern life alone. People were unhappy long before phones existed. The real problem is much deeper. The problem is how we measure life. We measure life like a checklist. Am I successful enough? Am I respected enough? Am I productive enough? Am I ahead of others? And as long as one box is unchecked, We tell ourselves, I don't deserve happiness yet. So happiness becomes conditional. And conditional happiness is fragile because conditions are never perfect. No one was forcing me to think this way. No boss, no parent, no society was standing in front of me demanding these things. The pressure was inside my own head. A quiet voice constantly saying, "You should be more. You should do better. You should be further ahead." That voice never rested. And slowly, I stopped resting too. One evening after work, I asked myself something honestly. What exactly am I waiting for? I had food, I had shelter, I had health, I had time. So why was I delaying happiness? That's when I saw the truth clearly. I was using the future as an excuse to avoid the present. I was saying, I'll live later, because living now felt uncertain, uncomfortable, and unplanned. The biggest lie is not that happiness comes from money or success. The biggest lie is this: you must earn the right to be happy. That belief turns life into a constant exam. You are always proving yourself, always chasing, always fixing yourself, and you never arrive. Happiness is not a reward for perfection. It is not a bonus for achievement. It is not something life gives you when you behave well. Happiness is what happens when you stop postponing yourself. When you stop saying, "not now," and start saying, "this moment matters too." Understanding this didn't solve my problems overnight. I still had responsibilities. I still had fears. I still had questions. But something changed inside me. I stopped treating happiness like a future prize. I started seeing it as a way of being. If you miss this truth, no habit, no routine, and no mindset trick will help, because as long as you believe I'll be happy after, you will always be chasing. And chasing never brings peace. That morning changed everything. Not because something big happened, but because for the first time in years, nothing happened. It was 6 a.m. I had woken up too early by mistake. The sky outside was still dark blue. My apartment was completely silent. The city hadn't started moving yet. No alarms, no emails, no noise, just me. The sound of the heater and my own breathing. For the first time in forever, I didn't reach for my phone. I didn't check what I missed. I didn't check who liked my post. I didn't rush. I just sat and looked out of the window. And something strange happened. No one texted me. No one praised me. I didn't get promoted. Nothing improved in my life. And yet, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. Not the kind of peace where you jump and dance with excitement. Not excitement, not motivation. Just a soft, deep stillness in my chest. It was like my thoughts were finally sitting down instead of running wild. And I whispered to myself, "Wait, is this what I've been missing all along?" That's when I understood something massive. Most of the pain I was carrying wasn't from people. It wasn't from my job. It wasn't from my failures. It was from how I thought about all of it. I was replaying old conversations in my head. I was imagining things that hadn't even happened yet. I was constantly judging myself. I was worrying about what others think of me. I wasn't tired of life. I was tired of my own thoughts. My mind had become my enemy, and I didn't even notice it. Have you ever been lying on your bed, but your brain is running a marathon? That was my life. Even in moments of rest, I couldn't actually rest because my brain kept whispering, "You should be more. You're behind. You're nothing compared to him. You're not good enough." Every single day, these thoughts repeated like background music, and I had gotten used to them. That morning in silence, I heard nothing, and it felt like freedom. Here's what I learned in that one quiet hour. When the mind stops running, happiness doesn't need to be created. It comes back automatically. Because deep down, you were never broken. You were just buried under layers. Layers of overthinking, layers of fear, layers of guilt, layers of trying to please others, layers of trying to prove yourself. And the only way to remove those layers is to stop running. Every day I was fighting time. I should be further by now. Fighting people. They don't understand me. Fighting reality. This shouldn't be happening. Fighting myself. Why am I like this? No wonder I was exhausted. I was trying to control everything. But in that morning silence, I stopped fighting. And in that space, I found peace I didn't know I was capable of feeling. Most people think if I can just fix everything out there, I'll be okay in here. But that's backwards. No house, no relationship, no money, no career, and no perfect body can fix a chaotic mind. Because even if life is beautiful, you'll still feel miserable if your mind is in pain. That's why some rich people are depressed. That's why some beautiful people feel ugly. That's why some successful people feel like failures. Because the battle isn't outside, it's inside. I stopped asking what's wrong with my life, and I started asking what's wrong with the way I see life. That question saved me because it put the power back in my hands. I realized my freedom begins when my thoughts slow down. What did I do next? Did I quit my job? No. Did I go live in the mountains? No. Did I become some spiritual monk? No. I just started practicing one new habit. I gave myself 10 minutes of silence every morning. No phone, no scrolling, no pressure, just silence. At first, it felt strange. But after a week, my mind stopped screaming all the time, and I realized something so simple, so life-changing. Happiness is not something you chase. It's something you uncover once the noise goes away. The real problem is not that we don't have happiness. The real problem is we've built a life that keeps covering it up. We are too busy, too distracted, too pressured, too disconnected, too overloaded. That morning, I didn't add anything to my life. I just removed the noise and happiness returned. Not as a guest, but as my home. After that silent morning, when I finally felt peace for the first time in years, I began asking a much deeper question. If this peace was always there, why did I keep losing it every single day? Why did my happiness disappear so quickly? Why did I feel empty again the moment the world turned back on? I found the answer. And it wasn't just painful, it was terrifying. It sounds crazy, right? Everyone says they want to be happy. But deep down, most people are not ready for real happiness. Why? Because real happiness feels foreign in a world addicted to pain. We are taught how to achieve. We are taught how to hustle. We are taught how to survive. But no one teaches us how to be at peace with ourselves. So when peace comes, it feels uncomfortable. We sabotage it. We ruin it. We go back to what we know. Stress, chasing, drama, pressure. I didn't smoke. I didn't drink. I didn't gamble. But I had other addictions. Addiction to overthinking. Addiction to guilt. Addiction to comparing. Addiction to fixing everything. Addiction to controlling the future. Addiction to anxiety. Yes, anxiety. Because anxiety gave me something to focus on. It made me feel like I was working on my life, but all I was doing was destroying my peace in advance. I grew up with a mindset that said, if you're not struggling, you're not doing it right. So when life felt calm, I felt like I was being lazy, like I was falling behind, like I wasn't pushing hard enough. Happiness started to feel like failure. That's how twisted things had become in my mind. This is the most honest thing I've ever said. When my life got quiet, I didn't feel peace at first. I felt fear because stillness makes you hear your own voice. And most people are terrified of what they'll hear inside. We keep ourselves busy not because life demands it, but because silence feels like a mirror. And some of us haven't looked in that mirror for years. I looked around one day and realized I had built a world that protected my pain, not healed it. I stayed in environments that kept me distracted. I kept people around who never asked me real questions. I avoided rest because rest meant reflection. I avoided slowing down because slowing down meant facing the truth. I didn't know who I was without my stress. I didn't know how to live without worrying. I didn't know how to be happy without earning it. It's not phones. It's not social media. It's not the news. It's not even money. Those are just tools. The real reason most people are unhappy is this. They have trained their mind to believe that they are only safe when they are uncomfortable. Comfort feels dangerous. Peace feels suspicious. Joy feels like a trap. So even when life is calm, they find something to worry about. I did it every single day without realizing it. Let me give you an example. One day, work ended early. I had no responsibilities. The sky was beautiful. I was healthy. But guess what I did? I started thinking, I should be doing something productive. This peace won't last, so don't enjoy it too much. Why do I even deserve to feel good right now? And just like that, I took the gift of a beautiful day and poisoned it with my thoughts. Here's something wild I learned from a therapist I spoke to later. The human brain is wired to return to what feels familiar, not what feels good. So if stress is familiar, you'll return to it. If overthinking is familiar, you'll return to it. If self-doubt is familiar, you'll return to it. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility, because no one can heal your mind for you. I wasn't trying to ruin my life. I was just trying to be responsible. I was just trying to stay ahead. I was just trying to prepare for the worst. But the worst had already happened. I had lost my ability to enjoy being alive, and no external success could fix that. Not because success is wrong, but because I never allowed myself to feel good along the way. I made a decision, not a big one, a small one. From now on, when peace comes, I will not reject it. I will allow myself to feel it, even if it only lasts a moment. Even if my brain says I don't deserve it. That small decision saved me from drowning in my own mind. Happiness doesn't feel hard because it's impossible. It feels hard because you've been told it must be earned. You've been told it's childish to chase it. You've been told you should be strong, not soft. You've been told peace makes you weak. Peace is the highest form of strength, because only the strong can stay calm in a loud world. If you truly want happiness, you must rewire how your mind sees peace. You must stop rejecting it. Stop overthinking it. Stop judging it. You must sit in it. Welcome it. Let it stay. And most importantly, you must stop building a life that only works in survival mode because you deserve more than survival. You deserve to live. There's a moment in every person's life where the truth hits them so hard it's like lightning inside the heart. It's not loud. It doesn't break anything outside, but inside it burns down everything that was false. That moment came for me on an ordinary Tuesday evening. No big tragedy, no emotional speech. No one left me, no one yelled at me. I was just sitting on my bed staring at the wall, and I finally saw the truth clearly. No one is responsible for my happiness except me. I had been waiting for something all my life. I didn't say it out loud, but deep inside, I was hoping maybe when I fall in love, I'll finally feel whole. Maybe when I get my dream job, I'll finally feel proud. Maybe when life becomes easier, I'll finally feel peaceful. But that night, I realized I had made happiness someone else's job. I kept waiting for the world to bring me peace when it was never the world's job. I'll be honest with you. I wanted someone to look at me and say, "Jack, I see your pain. I understand you. Let me fix it for you." No one can do that. Because even if someone gives you love, gives you attention, gives you comfort, if you don't feel worthy inside, you'll reject it. If you don't love yourself, you'll question their love. If you don't accept yourself, you'll never believe you deserve peace. And that's what happened to me. I kept saying, life is unfair. People don't understand me. It's society's fault. It's pressure. It's stress. But the deeper I went, the more I saw it wasn't life. It was me. I wasn't listening to myself. I wasn't taking care of my inner world. I wasn't setting boundaries. I wasn't speaking kindly to myself. I was neglecting my soul and blaming the world for the emptiness. No amount of praise, success, or love can heal a person who is disconnected from themselves. I had to stop blaming my past, my parents, my ex, my boss, the economy, God, time, luck, people, the system. I had to stop asking, "Why won't someone help me?" and start asking, "Jack, why won't you help yourself?" For years, I told myself stories. I'm not ready. I need to suffer more first. I don't deserve peace yet. Maybe next year things will change. I didn't realize I was the one keeping the door closed. I was the one postponing my own healing. That realization broke me. It felt like grief because I had to mourn the version of myself that kept waiting. But once I let that version go, something opened inside me. That night, I said something to myself that changed everything. I am no longer waiting. I am no longer blaming. I am no longer outsourcing my joy. From now on, I take responsibility for my peace. And I meant it. Not in a motivational way, not like a quote. I meant it deep in my bones because I was tired. Tired of pretending, tired of blaming, tired of giving away the power to feel alive. Taking responsibility doesn't mean life gets easier. It means you stop running from your truth. You stop waiting for others to understand. You stop negotiating your worth. You stop trying to be someone you're not. It's painful at first because now you can't play the victim anymore. But it's also powerful because you finally get your freedom back. Most people misunderstand this. Taking responsibility does not mean blaming yourself. It does not mean forcing yourself to be positive. It does not mean ignoring your pain. It does not mean saying, "I'm fine," when you're not. It means this: my happiness is my project. My peace is my home, and no one else can live there but me. It means becoming the guardian of your own mind. Instead of asking, "Why don't I feel happy?" I asked, "What am I still blaming the world for that I should start healing in myself?" This is where real change begins, because healing doesn't happen when you change others. It happens when you finally change your relationship with yourself. The moment I stopped blaming, I felt lighter. I slept better. I didn't panic when things went wrong. I stopped overreacting. I smiled more. Not to look happy, but because I was happy. Because now I didn't have to wait for life to behave. I just had to take care of my own space, my own emotions, my own energy. And that responsibility felt like peace, not pressure. If you're still waiting for someone to come save you, they're not coming. But don't feel sad about that, because once you stop waiting, you realize the only person who's truly capable of saving you has been with you all along. It's you, and you are more powerful than you've ever been told. I had searched for happiness my entire life. I thought it would feel like fireworks, dancing, smiling all day, jumping with joy, big moments and big rewards. But I was wrong. Because after all the struggle, all the thinking, all the pain, and all the silence, I discovered the real secret. And it didn't explode. It whispered. It didn't shout. It didn't announce itself. It didn't arrive with music playing in the background. It just showed up one day like an old friend when I stopped running, when I stopped pretending, when I stopped trying to be someone I'm not. Happiness didn't appear after I fixed everything. It appeared when I stopped trying to fix myself like I was broken. It appeared when I finally said, "This is who I am. This is where I am, and that's enough for now." Excitement is a feeling. It comes and goes. But alignment is a way of living. It's when your thoughts, your actions, and your values finally match. It's when you don't say yes when your heart says no. You don't chase what's not meant for you. You don't try to impress people who don't care about your soul. Alignment feels like peace, and peace feels like home, because your life doesn't hurt you every day. Your thoughts about life do. Thoughts of not being enough. Thoughts of not being loved. Thoughts of not being ahead. Thoughts of not being like them. But guess what? You're not broken. You're just carrying thoughts that don't belong to you anymore. Let them go. For years I lived like this. Smile in public, struggle in private. Achieve more, feel less. Work hard, sleep numb. I was alive on the outside but disconnected on the inside because I was wearing a mask every day. And it's hard to feel happiness when your real self is hiding. The moment I gave my real self permission to come out, not the perfect version, not the filtered version, not the successful version, just me. That's when the healing began. This was the biggest change of all. I stopped criticizing myself, comparing myself, punishing myself, rushing myself, pushing myself, judging myself. And I started speaking kindly to myself, resting without guilt, loving without fear, failing without shame, healing without deadlines. I stopped treating myself like a machine and started treating myself like a human. That's where happiness lives. You can't feel joy in the future. You can only feel it now. But most people don't live in now. They live in yesterday's regret, tomorrow's fear, today's to-do list. But not this breath, not this smile, not this sunrise, not this quiet cup of tea. Happiness lives in this moment. And most of us are never here long enough to feel it. Here are 4 invisible habits that block happiness for almost everyone. 1. Overthinking. Thinking isn't the problem. Believing every thought is. 2. Comparison. The fastest way to lose joy is to compare your life to someone who doesn't even know you exist. 3. Living for approval. If your happiness depends on what others think, you will never own your soul. 4. Chasing more, ignoring now. There is no next thing that will magically fix your emptiness. If you can't find peace where you are, you won't find it where you're going. One night, I whispered something to myself. It was the most honest thing I've ever said. Jack, your life is not the problem. Your resistance to life is. That hit me like a wave because I realized I kept waiting for life to give me something. But life had already given me everything I needed to feel peace. I just didn't know how to see it. So what is happiness really? Not pleasure, not thrill, not perfection. Happiness is breathing with ease, living without pretending, resting without shame, waking up and not dreading the day, accepting yourself without needing permission. Happiness is not a destination. It's a practice. It's a way of seeing. It's a way of being. It's not something you chase. It's something you allow. If you've listened this far, let me tell you something directly. Heart to heart, you were not born to live in pain forever. You were not born to chase and never rest. You were not born to impress. You were not born to carry guilt, shame, and self-hate. You were born to live. And living starts when you decide to stop escaping your life and start feeling it. Even the quiet parts, even the boring parts, even the messy parts. Because somewhere in that silence, underneath the noise, beyond the lies you've been told, happiness is waiting. Not far away, not in the future, but inside you right now. This is the end of my story, but maybe it's the beginning of yours. So, I'll leave you with just one question. If happiness was never outside you, then what are you still chasing that's stealing your peace? Because the moment you stop running, you don't lose happiness. You return to it. And maybe today is the day you come home.